Hey, Kars.
Hi.
You want to give me a hand building that germination chamber?
Sure.
Okay, so we're just gonna pick up we picked up a broken freezer. It's actually not that old. My parents had it. The compressor quit on it. So we're gonna use this and turn it into a germination chamber. A little dirty inside because it was sitting outside for a little bit here. But we'll go through the process and show you how to make this cheap. You'll need to pick up an Inkbird plug and play temperature controller. So it's also got set on there heating and cooling. So we need the heating for the crock pot, the cooling for this, which is a 4-inch exhaust fan. Because the freezer doesn't work, I've got this. We're gonna see how that works just for venting. Once it gets up to a certain temp, then the fan will kick on, vent out any air until it gets cold enough, I guess, for the heat to kick on and kick off the cooler. Here we got a old crock pot. I think we actually got it as a wedding present like almost 20 years ago. So there's that. You got low, medium, or no medium, just low and high, I guess. So we'll try it out on low first. We'll try it on high, see what it is, and we'll test it out a few times. But that's all we're gonna do is throw some water in that, put it in the bottom of the freezer, and go from there. Okay, as for the tools I'm gonna use, for now anyways, just got my impact. I got a number 1 and number 2 Phillips bit, as well as a red Robbie number 2. I've got my drill with a 1-inch spade bit. 1 inch is just big enough. It might be a little tight getting the plugs through the side of it. And I've got a 4-inch hole saw for the exhaust fan. Alright, so we're going to take the freezer here, and I've got my cameraman here. Come here, cameraman. So I've got my helper and my cameraman. This is Carson. He's our middle son. He's 13. He'll be 14 this year. Big and strong. But no, him and his sister Peyton especially will be out here this summer helping a lot out at the farm. This is our first market farm, so we're just trying to figure it all out, and it's a great learning experience for him and for his sister and for all of us as a family. Okay, so for the freezer, it's a Danby. I don't remember how many cubic feet. I want to say it's 14 cubic feet, I believe, something in around there. It's a smaller one. So what we have to do here, we're going to take the door, and I've got a grinder with a zip disc for right now. I'm going to cut all of this off. Like, these shelves can come off. Right, take off all the shelves. I'm going to cut this out, leaving the seal, because we still want a tight seal on this. Otherwise, it's just not going to work very well. Take that. For the time being, we're going to take out all these shelves, just so I can get in and around here. There's a cover in here that I'm going to take off. I'll show you in a second, and we'll see. But as you can see, if we can get this door to stay open. So these are 72 cell flats. You can fit 2 in there and be able to close the door side by side. Closes tight seal. So we can still fit 2 in there. I can add multiple shelves here because we don't need a lot of clearance between each shelf. So, because it's just germinating. It still leaves lots of room for the heat to come up and the moisture to come up and encapsulate everything. So the only thing that may be tricky, I'll have to grab some after, is our paper pot trays. I'll have to figure that one out because they're just a little bit longer as well. Alright, so in the freezer here, we've got this protruding in the back here. Underneath of this, it's just a cover for the coil and everything. I had a professional come out and drain the Freon out of this so that I can remove that. So, because once we remove that, it's going to gain us a lot more space all the way down, because otherwise the trays would stick out too far at the bottom, and now we've got space all the way down to here where the compressor would be underneath there. So we've got lots of room. That's perfect amount of space for height for our crock pot. And now we can start adding shelves from here all the way up. We should be able to get a lot of shelves out of that. So I'm just going to pop, there's 4 screws here. I'm going to pop those 4 screws out, show you the coil. And then there's 2 screws on that. We'll pop that out and we'll be ready to go. It's got the fan in it and some insulation around the coil. Don't need that either. Okay, so this is our coil. Disconnect the electrical. Be rough with it. It's not a big deal. We're not saving it. And on this particular model, there's a screw here and a screw here. Take that, and then from there, the whole coil will just come out. So I'm going to take out those 2. Okay, so our coil's out. Now we're left with our open area basically to do it. So for a quick reference, crock pot's going to go down in here. Cord will go out the side and plug into our Inkbird temperature controller, and then our shelving will start. And then we can go every few inches all the way up. We'll utilize the shelves that we have, but we will add others as well.
Yep.
Alright, so this exhaust fan, the 4-inch exhaust fan, got it on Amazon. I'll throw it up there as well, and you'll be able to see. The only thing I was going to mount it from the outside, it's got a check valve here so that no air can be blown in from the outside as well. So the check valve blows out this way obviously, right, because it's exhausting from here to there. So I'll mount it in here, up towards the top, and then I can seal up the outside so it looks neat and everything afterwards, maybe cover it with a little screen, however it is. Just need to make sure that there's room for these flaps to open on the outside of the wall or however it may be. So I may not need to screen it. It should be fine the way it is, being that it's in the greenhouse. There really shouldn't be much that gets into it. It's got a pull chain, so obviously you just pull it so that it's on, and then the Inkbird will then tell it when to turn on and off from there. Alright, so we're going to mount it right up in here, as close to the top as we can. I don't want to go to the back. A lot of times there's Freon coils and stuff in the back. I don't believe there is in this, but I don't know for sure. So I'm going to mount it up in here. So what we want to do is mark this out, use the 4-inch hole saw, and we can go from there. Alright, I got to go inside of it here, just because it's hard to do it left-handed. I'm a right-handed person, so I'll get it set here. Now we're going to take this, we'll just pop the cover off so that we can mount it in. But basically when we're done here, it's going to be mounted in there like so. So I'll get that put in and we'll be right back. Number 2 Phillips. You don't want to over tighten these. Really, it's going into foam. If you want to be really secure, you can drill some pilot holes and put some longer bolts through and bolt them from the other side. But in the meantime, this will work just fine. So the next thing we need to do is take this, we'll grab our spade bit, put it on the drill, and we will drill a hole for the plug to go through the other side where it's going to hook into the ink or temperature controller. Okay, so I've got that drilled through, I've got the plug put through. Let's fill this up with some silicone or something to seal it up, obviously, which we'll do after everything is done. But otherwise, right now, I can turn this on, and once I plug it in, it'll work. Okay, so it's all installed, the cover's on. I've got the hole through that we'll have to fill in with some silicone to seal it up afterwards, but if you come in, you can see when I pull the chain, which I'll pull the chain once, and leave it right now. I have it plugged in directly. Now it's sucking the air out. If you go around to the other side of the door, you can see how the flaps are open and it's sucking out to help cool down the germination chamber. And in theory, that's how this should work. Right now we'll turn it off and keep moving with everything else. Alright, so I drilled my hole for my crock pot cord as well. Again, we'll seal that up with silicone. It's come out. So now when I come around to the outside here, it's a little crude right now, a little rough. We got to clean up these metal edges where everything comes through. But I can mount my ink bird almost anywhere, I guess, as long as the cords reach the heating and cooling. So I need this one to plug into the heating, which is the crock pot. This one into the cooling, which is our exhaust fan. Pretty straightforward. Now I can mount this. This can be plugged in. And then we do have a temperature probe that needs to go in here as well. You need to drill a small hole and feed that through. What we'll do for mounting this, because this cord's extra long, we've got lots of room. So I'll plug this into the heating. I'll make sure I got a lot of slack there. I don't want it pulling too tight. It also gives me some room to move around the crock pot inside. So I mount that about there. Gives me some slack there. It should be pretty good. Okay. So as you can see on the ink bird, we've got a very large temperature sensor. Nice and long, good. So we can put it about anywhere. I'm going to go about midway here. You put it a little bit lower in the middle. So then if you've got some cooler crops like lettuce and different things like that that don't like it quite as hot as like tomatoes or anything that are going to be down towards the bottom, do this and it's going to even it out. So if you set it for 72, it's going to hit 72 down there. Up here it might be 70 or 68. 68 to 72 is probably a really good range for a germination chamber. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so we're all the way through. We now take our temperature probe. It's rooted in behind everything here, so we can check it out. Caught up on anything, and we can feed that through. Now, the nice thing is we can go around in here, open it up. As you can see, I've got our temperature probe coming in here. Now, regardless, I guess, where we drilled that hole, we've got lots of slack. We can bring it through, we can set it lower, we can set it higher, and everything will be okay. You don't want it maybe touching the side, but it'll work just fine regardless where we put our shelves. And as we put our shelves in, we can adjust where we think we need that to go as well. Okay, so we've got everything kind of wired and that. I slipped in a quick shelf here just to make sure it wasn't going to be an issue with that cord there, which it's not. If it's good, we'll put the other shelves in after. Right now, I'll use the zip disc, and we're going to take off this cover. All we're doing is taking off the cover. I don't want to go too deep because I don't want to affect the foam that's in there and the structure of the door itself. And I want to make sure we keep all of our seal all the way around and that's nice and sturdy. So you can feel where it squishes. You can see where the foam thing is, or the plastic door cover, and you want to get in there. we've got that all zip disced around real quick. Now there's kind of like a double layer foam in there, it looks like. I've peeled back a little bit. So there's foam inside of this as well, and it'll be glued. So a little bit of force, and we can get this out. There we go. Inner panel's off. Just gained us, 2.5 inches. What do we do with this? We'll clean it up later. So that's that. You can always clean this up if you want. Make it look pretty however you need to. However, you can see that's off, and well, you can't see, I guess, but it's still a tight fit. Okay, put in these shelves. So the next thing that I'm going to do is we'll get it wired up, finished up that way. I'll get some hot water in here. I got to go get our min-max. We'll set it up with a couple trays in here, just empty like that for fun. And we can run it for a bit and see what our min-max temperature, make sure it stays consistent with the setup that we've got here. We'll go. Hey there, it's the next day here now. Oh, had this running all night. Just thought I'd come by and check it out, see how it was. It was at 46 degrees Fahrenheit when I set it in the min-max there last night and got it running. So we'll see. I set it at 70 degrees with a 2-degree variation. So hopefully it doesn't go any higher than 72, any lower than 68. And we'll kind of see how that goes. So snow falling off the greenhouse there. So I'll just check it out and see where we're sitting. So according to the Inkbird, we're sitting at 68.9 degrees right now. Open it up. Alright, so our min-max, well, we hit a, saying it's currently sitting at 70 degrees inside here. So it's pretty close to our temperature controller there. The other one there is sitting at 65 according to the big one, but I'm not going to go by that. That was in case I didn't get a chance to pick up the min-max. So the min-max is, we hit a high of 72. So what I'll do here, oops, I'm just going to reset it here. Okay. There we go, 70 degrees. And that's with the crock pot set at low, not even on high. So it's not even burning a lot of electricity. It got down probably to about minus 12, minus 15 last night Celsius, and this was still able to keep that temperature. So that's a really good thing. It's really promising. So now that I've reset that temperature controller, we'll let it run for another couple hours here or whatever, and we'll come back and we'll check it out and see where we are. Alright, now it's been a couple hours since we had this running, since I reset the temperature controller, so let's just go and have a look and see what our range has been, see if it's working like we hope anyways. So open it up, check my min-max. Yeah, it's only been a couple hours, so we've hit a low of 68, a high of 71, and our humidity is running usually right around an average of about 65%. So I'm happy with those numbers. So, well, it looks like our germination chamber was a success then. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this tutorial. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you want. If you want to watch more videos as we go along with our family market farm venture here. And I'd like to show you different things. I'm going to show videos on the tools we're using, setting up the field from scratch, everything else. Go ahead, hit subscribe, follow along, and just go along with us on our journey. Bye-bye.